Yes, dear students, this is the structure of the eye. As I said, these are the organs of vision located in the sockets of the skull are called orbits. Each eye is surrounded by three layers. As I said, outer sclera. It is also called as tunica fibralis. This is the seer. This is the sclera. That white part is there. No? This is called sclera. This is the outermost layer of the eye, made up of dense fibrous connective tissue. Made up of dense fibrous connective tissue. As I said, this is only the layer completely covers the eye. This is only the layer completely covers the eye. Its anterior part is the transparent. This is the anterior part of the sclera. Its anterior part is the transparent and it is called as cornea. It is called as cornea. This is the one layer. As I said, second one is the choroid. Choroid, also called as tunica vascularis. Also called as tunica vascularis. This is the middle layer of the eye. This is the middle layer of the eye. So this is called choroid. This is the middle layer of the eye. Middle layer of the eye. It contains blood vessels. Hence it appears like a bluish in color. It contains blood vessels and appears bluish in color. It has the two parts, namely posterior part is thin and anterior part. So this part is thick. So it has the two parts, the posterior part and anterior part. So this is called anterior part actually. Anterior part is the thick and forms ciliary body. And forms ciliary body. Anterior part is the thick and forms ciliary body. I think it is very clear for you. So this ciliary body continuous forward, continuous forward, and forms thick, pigmented, opaque structure is called iris. Thick, pigmented, opaque structure is called iris. Iris, it has a central aperture, is called pupil. Iris has a central aperture is called pupil. The diameter of the pupil is regulated by muscles of iris. Diameter of the pupil is regulated by muscles of iris. I think the second layer is clear for you. I'll repeat once again. Middle choroid, also called as tunica vascularis, by splitting the tunica vascularis, you can decide this is the layer which contains blood vessels. Vascularis means blood vessels are present. That is why this layer appears bluish in color. As I said, it has two parts, posterior part and anterior part. Posterior part is thin, anterior part is a thick and forms ciliary body. So this ciliary body continues forward to form a thick, pigmented, opaque structure. Opaque means non-transparent structure. E is called iris. It has a central aperture. So this is called aperture. E is called pupil. Diameter of the pupil is regulated by muscles of iris. I think it is very clear for you. Next. Third one is the retina. Retina, also called as tunica nervosa. Tunica nervosa. Yes. Retina, sclera, choroid, retina. Tunica fibralis, tunica vascularis, tunica nervosa. This is the innermost layer of the eye. Innermost layer of the eye, consisting of three cells. These three cells from inside to outside are the inside to outside are the ganglion cells, bipolar cells, ganglion cells, bipolar cells, and photoreceptor cells. And photoreceptor cells. These are the three types of cells from inside to outside. Ganglion cells, bipolar cells, and photoreceptor cells. There are two types of the photoreceptor cells, namely cones and rods. There are two types of the photoreceptor cells, namely cones and rods. Cones contains a photopigment is called iodospin. Cones contains a photopigment is called iodospin, responsible for the daylight. Responsible for the daylight. It is also called as photopic vision. Okay, responsible for the daylight and color vision and color vision. Cones contains a photopigment is called iodospin, responsible for the daylight, nothing but photopic vision and color vision. I think it is very clear for you. Suppose if any birth defects occur in the cones now, these persons can't be able to differentiate the some colors. If any birth defects are in the cones, these persons can't be able to differentiate the some colors. I think that you heard that color blindness. A person with color blindness cannot differentiate the red and green colors because they have the defects in the cones only. That details you are going to study in second year. Clear? I think it is very clear for you. So there are two types of photoreceptor cells, cones and rods. Cones contains photopigment is called iodospin, responsible for the daylight and color vision. I think you are getting it. Then rods contains a photopigment is called rhodospin. Rods contains a photopigment is called rhodospin. Rhodospin is responsible for the twilight, nothing but scotopic vision, nothing but the scotopic vision, nothing but night vision. That I should remember here. Rods contains photopigment is called rhodospin, responsible for the twilight, nothing but scotopic vision. So this contains a derivative of vitamin A. This contains derivative of vitamin A. Here the twilight is nothing but night vision only. For example, so if you are reading under the bright light now, so inside this reading room, ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ಪವರ್ ಹೊರಟೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಅವಾಗ ನಾವು ಸುತ್ತಮುತ್ತಲು ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಏನು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎದ್ದೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಒಂದು 5-10 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಒಂದೊಂದು ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಾಣಿಸೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ rhodospin present in the rods only. That is called twilight or photopic vision ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. I think it is very clear for you. I'll repeat once again. Retina, also called as tunica nervosa. This is the innermost layer of the eye, consisting of three types of cells. The three types of cells from inside to outside are ganglion cells, bipolar cells, photoreceptor cells. There are two types of photoreceptor cells, cones and rods. Cones contains photopigment is called iodospin, responsible for the daylight and color vision. Rods contains photopigment is called rhodospin, responsible for the twilight as photopic vision. I think it is very clear. Nothing but night vision. So they only contains derivative of vitamin A. Clear? Okay, look at the book. The optic nerve which leaves the eye, the optic nerve which leaves the eye, and retinal blood vessels enters it at a point. Okay, optic nerve which leaves the eye and retinal blood vessel enters it at a point where rods and cones are completely absent. Where the rods and cones are completely absent, it is called blind spot. It is called blind spot. The optic nerve which leaves the eye and retinal blood vessels enters it at a point where the rods and cones are completely absent is called blind spot. Lateral to the blind spot, there is a yellow pigmented spot is called yellow pigmented spot. Lateral to the blind spot, there is a yellow pigmented spot is called macula lutea. Is called macula lutea. I think you are getting this. Macula lutea as a central pit is called fovea centralis. Macula lutea as a central aperture of central pit is called fovea centralis. I think it is very clear for you. Look at the lens contains crystalline protein suspended behind the pupil by suspensory ligaments. Lens contains crystalline protein suspended behind the pupil by suspensory ligaments. I think they are getting now. Both lens and suspensory ligaments divides the eyeball cavity into two chambers. One chamber located in front of the lens is called aqueous chamber, and it is filled with the colorless fluid is called aqueous humor. One chamber located behind the lens is called vitreous chamber, and it is filled with the vitreous humor. I think it is very clear for you. So this is the structure of the eye. Clear now? Yes, look at the board. Come, okay, I'll repeat once again. As I said, eyes are the organs of the vision located in sockets of the skull are called orbits. Got it? Each eye is surrounded by three layers. Outer sclera or tunica fibrosa made up of fibrous connective tissue. As I said, this is only the layer completely covers the eye. Its anterior part is transparent. It is called as cornea. Then choroid, also called as tunica vascularis. This is the middle layer, contains blood vessels. That is why it appears like a bluish in color. It has two parts, posterior part, anterior part. Posterior part is thin, anterior part is thick, and forms ciliary body. This ciliary body continues forward to form a pigmented, opaque structure. E is called iris. It has a central aperture. E is called pupil. Diameter of the pupil is regulated by muscles of iris. Clear? Then retina. This is the innermost layer, also called as tunica nervosa, consisting of three layers, cells, three types of cells, arranged from inside to outside are ganglion cells, bipolar cells, photoreceptor cells. Photoreceptor cells, two types are there, rods and cones. Rods contains photopigment iodosphene, responsible for the daylight and color vision. Okay, then rods contains cones contains photopigment is called iodosphene, responsible for the daylight and color vision. Rods contains photopigment is called rhodopsin, responsible for the twilight and photopic vision. They contains derivative of amino acid. Vitamin A. So that is why deficiency of vitamin A causes night blindness. That is should keep in mind. I think you are getting it. The optic nerve which leaves the eye and retinal blood vessels enter it at that point now where the rods and cones are completely absent. This is called blind spot. Lateral to the blind spot, there is a yellow pigmented spot. He is called macula lutea. Macula lutea is the central aperture. He is called fovea centralis. Clear? Lens contain crystalline protein suspended behind the pupil by suspensory ligaments. Both lens and suspensory ligaments divide the eyeball cavity into two chambers. One chamber located in front of the lens is called aqueous chamber, filled with aqueous humor, and another chamber located behind the lens. This is called vitreous chamber, filled with vitreous humor. I think this is clear for you. So this is the structure of the eye. That you should remember here. Yes, next we'll go for the structure of the ear. Yes, next let us come to the ear. Look at the board. So next we'll go for the ear. Yes. Now let us come to the ear. So ear, it performs two sensory functions. One is the hearing, another one is the maintenance of the body balance. Ear performs two sensory functions. One is the hearing, another one is the maintenance of the body balance. Ear has three parts, namely external or outer ear, external or outer ear, middle ear, and inner or internal ear, inner or internal ear. So these are the three parts of the ear that you should keep normally. Ear has the three parts: outer ear, middle ear, and inner ear. And inner ear. Okay, look at the board. First, we'll go for the external ear. External ear or outer ear has external pinna, and external auditory meters. External auditory meters, also called as external auditory canal. So these are the two parts of the external ear. This is called pinna. Ear opening, you can see that. That is called external auditory meatus or auditory canal. So this pinna receives the vibration in the air which produces sound. Pinna receives the vibration in the air which produces sound. Clear? Then external auditory meatus or canal continues up to the tympanic membrane, also called as eardrums. External auditory meatus continues up to the tympanic membrane, also called as eardrums. Tympanic membrane, also called as eardrums. So this tympanic membrane is made up of connective tissue and covered with the skin. Tympanic membrane covered, okay, made up of connective tissue and covered with the skin. That you should keep in mind. I think this is clear for you. Clear up? Okay, so external ear has two parts, so external pinna and external auditory meters. External auditory meters, also called as auditory canal. As I said, pinna receives the vibration in the air which produces sound. External auditory meatus continues up to the tympanic membrane, also called as eardrums. So tympanic membrane is composed of connective tissue and covered with the skin. I think it is very clear. Okay, next let us come to the internal or inner ear. Internal, also called as inner ear. Okay, middle ear. Sorry. First we'll complete the middle ear. Now let us come to the middle ear. So middle ear, it consists of three ear ossicles. It consists of three ear ossicles. So here look at the chart. You can see the three ear ossicles here. Namely, one is the malleus. It is also called as hammer. Malleus, also called as hammer. Incus, also called as anvil. Incus, also called as anvil. And the stapes, also called as the stirrup. Stapes, also called as stirrup. So these are the three ear ossicles present in the middle ear. That you should keep note. So middle ear, it consists of three tiny bones. They are only called ear ossicles. They are malleus, also called as hammer. Incus, also called as anvil. Stapes, also called as stirrup. You can ask me, sir, what are the functions of ear ossicles? They always amplify the sound waves. They always amplifies the sound waves and direct towards the tympanic membrane or eardrums. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಸೌಂಡ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಲೋ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ, ಆ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ and direct towards the tympanic membrane or eardrums. That is the function of the ear ossicle. See here, three are there. This is called stapes. You know that stapes are the smallest bones in the human body. This is called incus, also called as anvil. So this is the malleus, also called as hammer. As I said, these three ear ossicles are tiny bones now. Come under the facial bones only. That we have discussed in the skeletal system. So these ear ossicles amplify the sound waves and direct towards the tympanic membrane. One more point you should remember here. Eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. It connects middle ear with the it connects middle ear cavity with the pharynx. Middle ear cavity with the pharynx. That also should get known. Eustachian tube. Eustachian tube. Eustachian tube always connects middle ear with the pharynx. That you should remember here. This is very important, students. But in the chart, they have not shown here actually. But you should remember it. Eustachian tube always connects middle ear with the pharynx. What is the function of eustachian tube? Ossicles amplifies the sound waves and direct towards the tympanic membrane or eardrums. Suppose if the noise is very high, eustachian tube, this eustachian tube equalizes the sound waves on either sides of the eardrum. Equalizes the sound waves on either sides of the eardrum. That is the function of the eustachian tube. I think you are following me. ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಇಯರ್ಫೋನ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ಸಾಂಗ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಗೂ ತನ್ನದೇ ಆದ ಒಂದು ಫೇವ್ರೇಟ್ ಸಾಂಗ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಫೇವ್ರೇಟ್ ಸಾಂಗ್ ಬಂದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಯೂಶಲಿ ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ಬಟನ್ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಇಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ ಇಯರ್ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೂ ನೆಗ್ಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ವಾಲ್ಯೂಮ್ ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಫೇವ್ರೇಟ್ ಸಾಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಏನೂ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಧೈರ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ eustachian tube. It equalizes the sound waves on either sides of the eardrum. Clear? So this is the points you should remember under the middle ear. I'll repeat once again. Middle ear has the three tiny bones are called ear ossicles. They are malleus, also called as amber, incus, also called as anvil, stapes, also called as stirrup. These ear ossicles amplifies the sound waves and direct towards the tympanic membrane or eardrums. Eustachian tube, which connects middle ear with the pharynx, it equalizes the sound waves on either sides of the eardrum. Clear? So this is the outer ear and middle ear. I think it is very good. Now let us look at the inner ear or internal ear. Internal ear filled with a liquid is called labyrinth. Inner ear is filled with the fluid is called labyrinth. Labyrinth is of two types. They are bony labyrinth, surrounded by a fluid is called perilymph, and membranous labyrinth. It is filled with a fluid is called endolymph. Filled with the fluid is called endolymph. Clear? So internal ear or inner ear is filled with the fluid is called labyrinth. Labyrinth is of two types. Bony labyrinth is surrounded by a fluid is called perilymph, and membranous labyrinth is filled with the fluid is called endolymph. So this labyrinth has two parts. Labyrinth has two parts, namely cochlea and vestibular part. Cochlea and vestibular part. Cochlea and vestibular part. These are the two parts of the internal ear. So this is called cochlea. This is called cochlea, and this complete is nothing but vestibular part. So this is called vestibular part. This we can see vestibular part. This is the cochlea, and this is the vestibular part. Clear? Okay, look at the book. Inner coiled portions of the labyrinth. Inner coiled portions of the labyrinth is called cochlea. That you should remember. Inner coiled portion of the labyrinth is called cochlea. The cochlea is surrounded by membrane. So this membrane is of two types. They are Reissner's membrane and basilar membrane. Reissner's membrane and basilar membrane. These are the two types of membranes. Clear? Cochlea is surrounded by membrane. Membrane is of two types: Reissner's membrane and basilar membrane. The Reissner's and basilar membrane divide the surrounding perilimb into Reissner's. I'll write here. Both Reissner's and basilar membrane, both Reissner's and basilar membrane divides the surrounding perilimb, divides the surrounding perilimb into upper scala vestibulae, and lower scala tympani, upper scala vestibulae and lower scala tympani. That also you should remember. Both Reissner's and basilar membrane divides the surrounding perilimb into upper scala vestibulae and lower scala tympani. Lower scala tympani. Look at the board. At the base of the cochlea, the upper scala vestibulae ends at oval window. Oval window is called fenestra ovalis. Fenestra ovalis. Scala tympani ends at round window is called fenestra rotundus. Listen, both Reissner's and basilar membrane divides the perilimb, surrounding perilimb into upper scala vestibulae and lower scala tympani. At the base of the cochlea, the upper scala vestibulae ends at oval window. Oval window is called fenestra ovalis, and scala tympani ends at round window is called fenestra rotundus. Is called fenestra rotundus. I think it is very clear for you. Next one. Organs of Carti is a structure present on the basilar membrane. Organs of Carti is a structure present on the basilar membrane. Organs of Carti is a structure present on the basilar membrane. Present on the basilar membrane. So these organs of Carti have the air cells which acts as a auditory receptors. These hair cells now surrounded by a membrane is called tectorial membrane. Air cells are surrounded by a membrane is called tectorial membrane. I think it is very clear for you. The space within the cochlea is called scala media. It is filled with endolimb. I think it is very clear for you. So this much you should remember under the cochlea. I'll repeat once again. Yes, students, look at the board. So internal layer is filled with the liquid is called labyrinth. It is divided into bony labyrinth, membranous labyrinth. Bony labyrinth is surrounded by a fluid is called perilimb. Membranous labyrinth is surrounded by a fluid is called endolimb. Labyrinth has two important parts: cochlea and vestibular part. Cochlea, inner fluid regions of the labyrinth is called cochlea. It is surrounded by membrane. Membrane is of two types: Reissner's membrane and basilar membrane. Both Reissner's and basilar membrane divides the surrounding perilimb into upper scala vestibulae, lower scala tympani. At the base of the cochlea, scala vestibulae ends at oval window is called fenestra ovalis, and the scala tympani ends at round window is called fenestra rotundus. Clear? I think you are getting it. So organs of Carti are the structure present on the basilar membrane, which has the air cells, acts as a auditory receptors. So these air cells are surrounded by tectorial membrane. Clear? So this is the information about the cochlea. Now let us come to the vestibular part. So this is called vestibular part. The most complex part above the cochlea is called vestibular part. Vestibular part, it consists of three semicircular canals and otolith organs. Clear? Each semicircular canal lie in different planes at right angles to each other. At the base of the semicircular canals now, There is a solen structure. He is called ampulla. Yes. Look at the board. Look at the board. So vestibular part. Vestibular part. Vestibular part. This is the most complex part of the ear, lying above the cochlea. As I said, it consists of three semicircular canals, and otolith organs. And otolith organs. Otolith organs are the utricle and saccule. Utricle and saccule. Clear? As I said, each semicircular canal lie in different planes at right angles to each other. At the base of the semicircular canals, there is a solar structure. Is called ampulla. So this ampulla has a projecting ridge is called crista ampullaris. Projecting ridge is called crista ampullaris. Clear? At the base of utricle, and saccule, there is also a prosecting ridge. Is called macula. Is called macula. I think it is very clear. So this much you should remember under the ear. Clear? So I'll repeat what we have discussed. Three parts of the ear. Once I'm going to repeat. Okay, listen to me carefully. Yes, ears. They perform two sensory functions, students. One is the hearing, another one is the maintenance of the body balance. Ear has two major parts. External pinna, external auditory meatus or canal. Clear? External auditory meatus or canal. So ear has three major parts. One is the outer ear, external ear, middle ear, internal or inner ear. External ear has a pinna and external auditory meatus. Pinna receives the vibration in the air which produces sound. Clear? Then external auditory canal or auditory meatus continues up to the tympanic membrane, also called as eardrums. Tympanic membrane is made up of connective tissue and covered with the skin. Clear? The middle ear has the three tiny bones are called ear ossicles. Malleus, also called as hammer. Incus, also called as anvil. Stapes, also called as sternum, smallest bones in the human body. So these ear ossicles amplifies the sound waves and direct towards the tympanic membrane or eardrums. There is a eustachian tube which always connects middle ear with the pharynx. This eustachian tube equalizes the sound waves on either sides of the eardrum. Clear? Next. Internal ear is filled with the liquid is called labyrinth. It has bony labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth. Bony labyrinth is surrounded by a fluid is called perilymph. Membranous labyrinth is surrounded by a fluid is called endolymph. Labyrinth has no parts, cochlea and vestibular part. Inner coiled regions of the internal labyrinth is called as cochlea, surrounded by membrane. Two types of it, Reissner's membrane and basilar membrane. Both Reissner's and basilar membrane divide the surrounding perilymph into upper scala vestibule, lower scala tympani. Clear? At the base of the cochlea, the scala vestibule ends at oval window is called fenestra ovalis, and scala tympani ends at round window is called fenestra pudendus. Clear? The space within the cochlea is called scala media. It is filled with the endolymph. I think it is very clear for you. Clear now? So this much you should remember under the cochlea. Okay. Next, one more point you should remember. Organs of Corti is a structure present in the basilar membrane containing hair cells, acts as a auditory receptor. So that hair cells are surrounded by a membrane is called the tectorial membrane, because this is important. You should remember it. I think it is very clear for you. Okay. Next, let us come to the vestibular part. Most complex part of the internal ear is called vestibular part, lying above the cochlea. It has three semicircular canals, otolith organs like utricle and saccule. Each semicircular canal lie in different planes at right angles to each other. Got it? At the base of the semicircular canals, there is a solen structure. is called ampulla. It has a projecting ridge is called crista ampullaris. Utricle and saccules also have the projecting ridge called the macula. Clear? Huh? So this much you should remember here. I think it is very clear. Yes. And finally, we'll go for the mechanism of the hearing. Finally, we'll go for the mechanism of the hearing. Okay, listen to me. Mechanism of the hearing. Mechanism of hearing. Mechanism of the hearing. Okay, look at the. Dear students, during mechanism of the hearing now, first external ear receives the sound waves and direct them to the tympanic membrane, also called as eardrums. So this is the external ear. It receives the sound waves and direct them to the tympanic membrane or eardrums. The ear ossicles in the middle ear amplify the sound waves and send them to oval window in the middle ear. Send them to oval window in the middle ear. I think it is very clear for you. Following now, the oval window undergoes vibration and creates a waves in the perilimb of the scala vestibulae. Scala vestibulae. I think it is very clear for you. So the vibration in the perilimb, okay, vibration in the perilimb induces a ripple in the basilar membrane. Vibration in the perilimb induces ripple in the basilar membrane. The movement of basilar membrane bend the ear cells and pressing them against the tectorial membrane. Pressing them against the tectorial membrane. I think it is very clear for you. Okay, as a result of this, impulses are generated in the associated afferent neurons. Later, these impulses are transmitted to the auditory area in the cerebral cortex, where these impulses are analyzed and the sound can be recognized. This is the brief explanation about the mechanism of the hearing. Dear students, I'll repeat once again, listen to me. External ear receives the sound waves and direct them to the tympanic membrane or eardrums. Clear? The ear ossicles in the middle ear amplifies the sound waves and send them to oval window in the middle ear. The oval window undergoes vibration and creates a waves in the perilimb of the scala vestibulae. I think you're getting now. The vibration in the perilimb induces the ripple in the basilar membrane. The movements of basilar membrane bend the hair cells and pressing them against the, got it now? Bend the hair cells and pressing them against the, sorry, yes, and pressing them against the tectorial membrane. Clear? As a result of this, impulses are generated in associated afferent neurons. Later, these impulses are transmitted to the auditory area in the cerebral cortex. Yesterday we have discussed that. In the lobes, we have different areas. Auditory area usually present in the occipital lobe. So later these impulses pass to the auditory area in the cerebral cortex, where the impulses are analyzed and sound can be recognized. I think it is very clear for you. So this is the brief introduction about the mechanism of the hearing. I think this is very clear for you. So dear students, with the help of these sense organs, we have completed the neural control and coordination. So next chapter, last chapter in human physiology, chemical coordination and integration. That I am going to explain. Now you take a short break. After the break, I will continue.